Welcome to Winning with Annalee. I'm your host, Annalee Leonard, president of Mainstay Financial Group, right on the corner of Cervantes and Perry. Well, here we are going into February, and my goodness, we have had what a cold winter. We're already in 2018. Life marches on, things happen. But one of the things that we all know that happens if we're privileged enough to continue the aging process is that sometimes as we age, as I like to say, life happens. I have with me today a good friend and a colleague, Mr. John Horton. John is with Assisted Living Locators here in Pensacola. And John, you specialize in that fact that life happens as we age.
And it happens fast in certain situations. So as we age, we need to be a little more prepared so that we know what's going to happen when it does happen.
What's going to happen, and be prepared for that change. You and I talk often, and one of the things I constantly talk to everybody about is you have to have a plan for your money. But one of the things I've really been emphasizing over the last many years is the fact that we have to have a plan about what are we going to do with our living situation as age occurs, and sometimes physical ailments occur. Sometimes that's mental, sometimes it's both. And as you said, that happens much more quickly than we think it could happen. So your company, Assisted Living Locators, you specialize in helping people make decisions when they either don't want to live at home anymore or they can't.
That is correct. And sometimes it can be a combination of the two, where doctors and family are encouraging the seniors to, make a decision. Let's downside a little bit. Let's get you in a place that someone can help take care of you. And sometimes the seniors make that choice themselves, which is much better. Yes. But either way, even as you say, you need to plan ahead. You need to have some information. You need to know what you believe you are doing, and then talk to you about, can we do this?
Can we do it?
Yeah.
You and I right now have a mutual client, and a classic example, people that are financially well off, live in a huge house, and all of a sudden he's become incapacitated.
Yes.
And has begun to go down mentally, and she's in a panic.
Yes.
What do I do? Where do I go? So we got you in contact with her, and that's your position of what you do. So if you could kind of explain to us what Assisted Living Locators, what's your mission? What are you doing? What's exactly your position there?
Our mission is to help families take on this circumstance that they find themselves in, where they can no longer live at home, they can't take care of themselves, or they have a loved one that they can no longer take care of. And so what we do, we are 100% free service to the families so that they can feel comfortable talking to us, sharing their experience, and then based on what they tell us, we go and find 2 or 3 places that would be suited for them, both financially, whether it would be for medical reasons or physical reasons, and we help them get into that place, get them settled, and get them comfortable with a different kind of living, but a living that's going to take care of them and help them continue down life's road.
Okay, so that sounds really nice, John, but I mean, can I go do that myself? I mean...
Yes, you can. You certainly can. One of our thoughts is that we're going to save you time, energy, stress, and money. There are 32 different communities here.
Wait, say that again. How many communities?
There are 32 local communities.
32?
Yes, and 2 more being built. So Pensacola is expanding. But if you call all 32 places, you're going to get 32 people that's going to call you back and say, have you made a decision? And then it becomes confusing. I thought you said this. No, that must have been another place. I thought I could do this. No. So what we do is we hold that confusion down. We help you not to be so overwhelmed with the information. So based on what you tell us, we filter it down to 2, 3, maybe 4 places that will fit within what you're giving us the information on. And then we'll help you tour with it. We'll help you get questions as to what you need to be asking, and we'll try to guide you through that whole process.
So you kind of, on your side, in your position, you do a lot of what I do. I mean, people can do their own financial planning if they so desire. They can go read up on every annuity that's out there. They can read up on every long-term care policy that's out there. Or as when Joan helps people with their Medicare decisions, and we all know what that's like. Everybody sends you a book this thick, and they're all the right one.
Sure.
So we kind of go out and we do the shopping for our clients, so to find what suits what they need and to fit that into their picture. So you're doing the same thing. You collect information from the individual's family or the individual themselves.
Correct.
That needs help, and then you go out and you narrow that down for them.
Exactly what we do. And it's even funny that you say that. Everything is a lot more complicated now. It used to be you go into the hardware store looking for a screw, and now they've got tons of screws. All I want's a screw. I can't imagine what the financial side of it is.
Oh gosh, the financial side is like going in and picking out paint colors. You know, you can put this much of whatever in it, and you've got a whole new shade of something.
Yes.
So it's a very difficult world, and just like your world, it's something you've got to be inside of every day, and you got to be learning every day, because like you said, we're building 2 new locations, so you've got to add that to your repertoire as such, so that when someone needs something, you know the direction to bring them in. What do you think, John, are some of the signs that a family would know that maybe it's time to start thinking about downsizing? Let's just deal with downsizing first.
Well, with downsizing, your incident earlier with the lady that we're working with is they have a large house. And a lot of times people have 2-story houses, and climbing the steps, fear of falling because they have falling, they just get to where they can't take care of the yard, they can't take care of the repairs. They're not using, they have a 12-room house and they're living in about 3 or 4 of them.
Rooms,
It's just time to start thinking about it. And I'm sure the kids have also get involved, and they kind of say, well, Mom, do you really need this big a place? And what can we do to help you with that? So we want to help.
Yeah. And of course, you know, I think everyone has this hope, this dream that this is my home, I love this home, I've had so many experiences here, and you want to stay there. I think ideally all of us want to stay, but realistically it's not always the best thing to do, especially if you lose a spouse, you're there by yourself. Maybe neighbors you know have now passed away or moved away themselves, and it becomes a very lonely situation at times.
It's a very emotional decision because, as you've said, they've lived in this home, they've lived in that neighborhood, that's where their family and their friends, and so it becomes a very emotional decision. But what we have to remember is what is the best situation for them. So socialization is very important, where they're meeting with people their age, people with their experiences, that they can share those same experiences and talk about different things, rather than sitting in front of the TV, not eating correctly.
Nutrition, that's another big one. You know, we both know that very often it's a piece of toast, cup of coffee, maybe something at noon, might just be popcorn or a half a sandwich, and then at night it's, oh, I'm really not hungry, and the nutritional level goes down, and if that goes down, the body starts to go down.
Starts to break down, and then you add on top of that the loneliness and the depression, and then you add on top of that maybe medication management that they're not correcting. And so the body does, as it ages, it doesn't absorb the medication the same way, doesn't react always the same way. So it's very important that someone is looking out for them. And you talked about spouses. sometimes the spouse is doing so much for the other spouse that they break down their health also.
They neglect themselves
They
entirely.
certainly
Don't rest. They're so busy trying to make sure that the person they're taking care of eats. They don't eat themselves. And I've seen that with some of my clients. I've seen them age so rapidly because they're taking care of someone who can't take care of themselves.
That's right.
And that's not always the best decision, either for you or for the person being taken care of, because you can both wind up getting hurt pretty badly that way.
So true. And one of the saddest stories that we hear is when a senior has fallen. And in 4 hours, the body starts shutting down, breaking down. And sometimes I know of people that have laid there for 24 hours or longer because they don't have someone checking on them. They can't get to the phone, and someone says, well, they're probably sleeping. And so then they end up in the hospital, and it becomes very tragic.
And it becomes very tragic. One of the things I'd like for us to cover today, John, is to talk some about the caregivers and signs that the caregiver can look in the mirror and recognize for themselves of, just maybe it's time to call somebody. So we're going to talk about that when we get back from break. We'll be right back.
Retirement strategies come in all shapes and sizes. One strategy does not fit all when it comes to reaching your retirement goals, and considering all your options may be, well, more than you want to think about. So whether you're looking to retire or already living in retirement, you need a strategy tailor-made for you.
Hi, I'm Annalee Leonard with Mainstay Financial Group, and I'm here to design a financial plan for you and for those that you love.
Hart, what's going on?
I'm leaving.
Why? What did I do?
Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit.
Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave.
Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Mainstay Financial Group offers advocacy and personal financial guidance in a caring environment. That's the heart of our practice. At Mainstay, we're dedicated to exemplary service and a caring relationship with our client, not with a number. Plan for the future now with Mainstay Financial Services.
Welcome back to Winning with Annalee. I'm Annalee Leonard, president of Mainstay Financial Group, right on the corners of Antie's and Perry. We're talking today about planning for our future. And anyone who's ever listened to me on radio, TV, been in my office, you know that's one of my big words all the time. You hear me talking about having a plan. And part of what tends to happen very often, not always, but very often as we age and we become older, we have physical ailments that begin to limit our abilities to take care of ourselves. Often a spouse or a child will come in and try to take care of us. Now, today we have with us John Horton with Assisted Living Locators. And John, we've been talking about some of the signs that you may recognize yourself or the family may recognize and say, well, maybe it's time to take another step. What about the caregiver? The caregiver every morning has to look in the mirror and ask themselves, I think, some questions.
They do. One of the things that caregivers have a problem with, as you alluded to, excuse me, is the fact that they're not taking care of themselves. What we have found is the average caregiver is a 46-year-old female that has 2 children of their own working a full-time job.
Yeah.
So they're trying to balance all that out, and what they're finding is that their health is running down and they don't necessarily recognize it. So what they need to do is look in the mirror and say, first of all, how is my health?
Yes.
Am I feeling pain? Should I be going to the doctor and I just can't find the time? Should I be looking at my finances because they forget to do certain things, or they can't do it, they can't keep up with it, and they just find themselves being overtaken? And before they get to that overwhelmed stage where they're, I have them where they call me and they're just in tears because they've broken down, they're totally at a loss as to what to do. They need to take a step back. Now there is a program that probably should mention called Respite Care in Pensacola.
Yes.
Different programs. You can call us and we can help you find a place that you can take mom or take a loved one and just let them spend a day, let them spend a week, and where you just regroup and recollect your life, and then maybe you can go back to caring. But that also gives you that time to think about what you're doing. Is it what's best?
Right.
And what else can we do?
And you know, I think if you find yourself becoming short-tempered with your family or short-tempered with the person you're taking care of, especially if that person is going into a state of dementia or Alzheimer's, it becomes very difficult sometimes to hear the same story over and over and over, or the same question over and over and over, because the person simply forgot.
That is a very realistic problem. And you've got the dynamics of family, because mom raised that child. She really doesn't want to hear the child telling her what to do and what she ought not to do. And it becomes a sense of independence that they're losing. So the caregiver gets a little irritable, as you said, a little short-tempered, and then it becomes even more than that when someone from the outside can come in and tell, like an older friend comes in and tells mom something, and mom says, well, I think I should do this because so-and-so said. So then you get really upset because mom's not listening to you, but she's listening to a neighbor that doesn't know what's going on. So yes, there are a lot of signs. Be assured that there are people that want to help in that situation, but also understand that if it is a dementia problem, don't take it personal.
Yes.
And that's so important. So many people take it personal. Mom just doesn't love me anymore. She's not the same woman that I remember. It can be part of the aging process.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind also.
Yeah. And I think the thing we have to realize now is, as a society, we're living much longer.
Very much.
You know, when we used to do plans for people way back when I first started my career, you would get life projections to age 80-something, because people were, it was amazing if they lived to that age. Now when we do projections, we're going to age 112, 120. When I do a plan for someone, I always go beyond 100. And you know, people will laugh and say, oh, I'm not going to live that long. I'll never get past 80. And I'm like, we don't know anymore.
No, we don't.
We really don't. So you've got to think about that. If you're really determined to keep someone at home, how long might that be?
It is amazing. I've gone to several facilities, and there are people in there at 100, 101. I can take you to a place at 104. In fact, one gentleman will be 104 in February. He still drives, and he still goes. And so he's living in a community, and all his needs are taken care of, but he still has his own life, and he can come and go at 104.
Yeah. I think, John, it's important too, we make the distinction for people. There are levels of care. There's independent care, or independent living. It's the terminology where people perfectly well can take care of themselves, still do their own traveling, do whatever they want to do, but they downsize or make the decision to live in a community of people around the same age, have meals prepared for them, constant entertainment. That very often is that the first step to the rest of the steps that take place. And it's not unusual. I found a lot of my clients have begun to downsize, either rent apartments or a home, smaller home next to their children, or go into an independent living facility. And part of that is because they want the freedom to travel and not have to worry about a house.
Right. Don't have to worry about mowing the yard, don't have to worry about if the air conditioner breaks down or the roof is leaking.
Yes.
You just kind of walk away and say, hey, we're going off for a couple of weeks, or we're going to go visit someone for a while. We're going to go do this and enjoy life.
And enjoy life. And then some of the communities right within their own walls go from independent to assisted, where you might just need help getting dressed, taking medications, getting to the doctor's office, and depending on how progressive that becomes, then they go into a full long-term care type facility.
That's true. It just depends on how much you need care. And so if you can get along on your own for the most part, but you need a little help, you could go into assisted living, still live as independently as you want to. You can still drive, you can still come and go, but they're going to provide you 3 nutritious meals a day. They're going to clean your apartment for you, and they could provide transportation to the doctor. And all of them have their own different philosophies, they have their own different procedures, and their own different way of handling things. So there's a variety out there that could fit for your need.
And you know that I tell my clients that are perfectly healthy, I tell them now, start looking around, get an idea of what places are like, and decide if that need occurred where you would want to be, because if you don't make the decision, somebody else is going to make it for you.
We get calls from the ICU, from the emergency room, from the hospitals, of people who have found themselves in a crisis situation, and they find themselves having to make a quick, uneducated decision. And I think that's where we at Assisted Living Locators come in. We're very familiar with the communities. We're very familiar with how the system works. We can help you with different programs to help in financial ways. They're limited, but we can. And so we can come in there and give you some information, all compacted to meet your personal individual need, and that gives you some peace and assurance that you're not making just a rash decision.
Well, and I see that on the financial side, which is why I insist when I work with clients that the husband and wife are both involved. Because what I've seen too often is the wife will sit there and say, oh, he handles that. I don't need to know about it. Well, you need to know at least the basics. And the way I explain it to him is I say, listen, if I look at this watch and say, what time is it? You can tell me what time it is. Not necessarily about the workings on the inside, but you have to at least know what this is and what its purpose is. And then you avoid that all of a sudden the husband passes away and the wife is in a panic. And as you said, wrong decisions are made at that point. Panic decisions are not good when it comes to your finances or where you're going to live, possibly for the rest of your life.
It's very critical. And just as you explained with the financial side, I get the call and say, well, what can mom afford? Because that has to be one of those questions.
Sure.
And mom doesn't know.
Yeah.
And the kids don't know because the elderly, senior, think it's a private affair.
Yes.
So the kids have to go out and talk to mom and dad, get the conversation going, find out what they can do, what they can't do.
Yes.
Seek someone out such as yourself to help them with that financial. And you're going to have to help me out, but you say you might have done a good thing, handled your money well, but hanging on to it maybe not so well. And that's very important.
That's very important. It's very important. And one of the things I do with my clients is I make sure that their children meet me. Now, not necessarily do we sit with the children and say, this is how much money mom and dad has, but we know that I'm there helping so that if a need arises, if a parent passes away, I'm one of the first phone calls that's made.
You're part of that plan.
I am part of the plan. So I can then say, all right, let's go to John, talk about possibly a good place for mom or dad to now live, you've got to look within this cost range.
All right.
And then when the parents get to that point where they're ready or the power of attorney comes in, we're able to say, all right, this is what we have to work with.
And could you repeat that? Because I also meet with a lot of families and no one is the power of attorney. No one is the
Yes.
health surrogate. No one is in charge in case mom and dad can no longer
Worst
make
thing
those
that
decisions.
can happen. I get on my knees and I beg people when they come in to see me on that first visit, even if they're not going to work with me, I beg them, make sure, please, here are the names of several attorneys I know will not rip you off. They'll do a good job for you. They're not going to try to give you more than you need, but these documents are essential. And I don't think people realize you don't want your child going to court to be appointed as your guardian. That becomes a nightmare.
It's time
becomes a
consuming
nightmare.
and expensive.
It's expensive.
And I would offer to the listeners too that that's something that we do. We come in and we talk to the seniors. As you know, we're
Yes.
both certified senior advisors, so we know how to talk with seniors. But we'll come in and say, look, they're not trying to take over your life,
No.
but it's very important that someone be in charge in case you're not able to be.
Because we know about family dynamics.
We do, don't we?
John, thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate you. Your number's up on the screen. People can call you, or you can call my office, 437-3127, and we'll get you in touch with John. Take care. We'll see you next month.